New piece of software, and it looks like I have been muted the whole time. Indeed. Alright, well, it's good to get familiar with utilizing this piece of software. Well, hey everybody. Sorry I'm kind of late to the game with audio here, but hopefully you've been enjoying the view and kind of following along with the best you can without my literal play-by-play going here, because I've been muted and I didn't realize that because I was looking at the wrong icon for the speakers and not the microphone. So I am testing out a new piece of software for streaming. It's called XSPlit. I usually use OBS Studio. So tonight has been just kind of focused on testing out some of this workflow and how to add sources and the transitions between the screen you're seeing here and the webcam here. And hi, now you can finally hear me. And we'll go back to our sharp cap view here. Just getting kind of familiar with everything from the software perspective. There's my little widget for my chat, so I don't have to bounce between three different windows for that, so that's good. So we do have a great view here of Messier 19. This object is approximately 26,000 light years away. Its approximate age is about 11.9 billion years old. Globular clusters are some of the oldest objects in the universe, by the way. As you can see, as we switch back to Stellarium, there are plenty. Basically, I have Stellarium set to only show me globular clusters and open clusters. You can see globular clusters kind of look like that. The reticle that we're on here. Here's where we are pointed. If you were to go outside, you'd be probably able to see M19 with a pair of binoculars for yourself. Certainly use Antares as a good starting point, and just pan up to the northeast. Of course, those that have a red dot finder, or as this is emulating a Telrad finder, you can kind of get the gist of where we are pointed with that little visual representation of a Telrad finder there. So many cool objects to go to in this neck of the woods. We are looking towards the plane of our galaxy, the Milky Way here, as you can see with Stellarium. Just a ton of objects. Since I probably didn't have audio going, I want to remind you that if you're on YouTube, go ahead over and look for Warner Park Nature Center YouTube channel. Hit subscribe, because next Friday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time to 10:30 p.m. Central Time, you're going to have a number of astronomers participating in the Tennessee Virtual Star Party. And we are going to hopefully have weather, being that everyone's kind of spread out everywhere from East Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, where I'm at, to West Tennessee and Memphis area. Hopefully we can have somebody with some clear skies and sharing live views. We're going to share everything from the moon to Jupiter, Saturn, and of course some deep sky objects. And I think we're even going to try to share Comet Neowise. So you'll want to go ahead and subscribe to that channel so that you can get alerts when that's going to go live and enjoy that star party for yourself. The Tennessee Virtual Star Party, it's going to be Friday, July 24th. We've got a number of professional educators that are going to be sharing views to the telescopes. A number of them are directors at planetariums and science centers, and much better, well, they're professional educators. I'm just a little old amateur astronomer, so I'm humbled to be in their company for this event, and I think you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be weather, rain or shine, really, because if we do get clouded out, if everybody gets clouded out, we'll just share some images of some objects that were recently taken with the equipment in question. So we are going to have a lot of fun either way, and I think you're going to learn something and enjoy yourself. So check that out next week. And see, that's that darn naming issue that I was talking about. So let me back over that again. See if it will pick this up this time as being a different name. There we go. So it got it again. So this is 14 stacks. So we've been basically viewing this for 14 minutes. And the image is just building and building and improving and improving. And let's go back to that image because right now I'm still on Stellarium. So let's go back to our live view. So there it is. This is our live view of Messier 19. As you can see, we've got 840 total seconds on that. So multiple stacks of 60-second exposures. So I'm trying to think of one other object that we can go to tonight that will really be kind of neat. And I'm thinking we're going to go ahead and do one nebula before we wrap it up. Again, this is just a brief test tonight. I'm just trying to get through this workflow, get used to flipping around these screens. It's certainly going to help me when I add a third monitor. This way I can kind of keep track of the sharp cap view through the telescope, everything that's going on this screen, and maybe Stellarium off on the left screen. So definitely need another monitor just so that I can kind of keep tabs on everything. But hopefully this view is coming through well for you, and the audio is coming through well for you, and you're enjoying this brief little test. So I think what we'll do is let's go ahead and pause it here for a moment. I've got my M19 image saved. We're going to wrap it up on one other object tonight. I'm going to surprise you. I'm not going to tell you what it's going to be. I slew the telescope to that location. Got it on my 8 seconds here. And let's check out to see how close we actually are to the object by doing a plate saw-off. I really am kind of scratching my head. I don't know why the scope and the go-tos have just been so off with the 8-inch 6.3. Maybe it's just my field of view, but now that I think about it, really when I had the other Newtonian on, you know, even if that's an f4, it was a heavier scope and longer, and I don't know, it should be well balanced. The guiding's been pretty good. There we go. So about a little over ½ degree there distance. So let's go over to what we're going to see now. We are going to look at a nebula. The Omega Nebula. I like to call it actually the Swan Nebula. As you can see, there's a number of naming conventions out there to it. Horseshoe Nebula, Checkmark Nebula, never heard that one. Lobster Nebula, that might be a new one, but either way, it's Messier 17. So we will have this up on the screen here live for you in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and start the computer guiding. I'm going to change this back to being a 60-second exposure for M17. This is an open cluster basically associated with nebula. It's red, so it should be an emissions nebula. Blue is usually associated with reflection. Red is usually associated with an emission. So we are going to be looking at this guy coming up here momentarily, right here at the eyepiece. So let's leave it right there on that. Let's find out some other interesting information on that. This one's at magnitude 6. I can, by the way, clearly see this nebula myself from my backyard with my 10x42 binoculars. So you too will be able to go out there and see this for yourself. We are in the constellation here, I believe Sagittarius. Let's zoom out just a bit. And you can see that teapot asterism there associated with the constellation Sagittarius, and the approximation of where we are looking. Let's put our red dot there just to give you an idea. Actually, our tail red reticle to give you an idea where we are looking. So there's Sagittarius. We are looking right here. So basically, if you had a pair of binoculars and you were going out, boy, you're just going to be enjoying yourself by starting here at the tip end of the Scorpius, the tail of Scorpius, and just start to scan north and slightly east, and you're going to see a variety of objects for yourself. So it's a beautiful, beautiful area to scan with the telescope binoculars, or even with your naked eye. All right, so let's go back to our sharp cap view, because here in a moment, hopefully, we will have a beautiful image of the Swan Nebula M17. And there we go. There is our Swan Nebula. A little bit clipped here, so let me make my adjustments. There we go. And that is a single 60-second exposure right there. So we are going to let that stack. It's by stacking, it kind of reduces the noise from our camera in the background. It just improves what's called the signal to noise ratio of the image. It just makes it better. How's that? All right, very good. As you can see with this particular setup that I'm using, I'm not getting a very wide field with this setup. It's more of a, let's say, medium. It's an 8-inch f6.3, meaning it's a Celestron C8. Those are usually operating at a focal ratio of f10, and I'm using what's called a reducer to improve the field of view, but also to make it grab these photons a little bit faster. If we were slower, or I should say if we were faster than f6.3, we would have a little bit more, a little improved field of view basically. But I kind of like this setup in particular because it's a very kind of happy balance between getting up close to some objects but still being able to pull some other larger objects into the field of view enough to certainly enjoy them. All right, so that's 2 stacks on M17, really coming through quite nice right now. So again, let's switch back to our Stellarium program. This is where we are looking at, folks, in the night sky, live right here. Right about where we have that reticle pointed for, you'll see scope, that's communicating to the telescope, the software is, and those this red finder is just added as an overlay there to try to give you a little bit better sense of where we're looking. Zoom out just a bit. Let's do that. Put that back on, and then we'll zoom out just a bit. As you can see, if you were facing due south, you'd see Sagittarius, and you'd prominently see 2 stars, which aren't stars at all. Over there to the south, that's Jupiter and Saturn. Okay, we've total of 3 minutes so far on our image. Let's go back to our full image there, which is our live image at the eyepiece of the telescope. Looks like we got good color balance here. Could have maybe nudged the scope a little bit further. I'm not sure what orientation that would be, but lower, I guess, on the screen here. But it's pretty well centered as much as it can be here. So we're up at about 7. Looks like we had one stack that didn't quite make it, but that's okay. We have 7 out of 8 total, which is coming good. I want to go ahead and at least get 10 before I save. Really happy so far with this. We've got just one more stack that we are waiting on for a total of 10 here. I'm pretty happy with that live view. Almost kind of looks like a dragon to me, really, with the way the head comes up here, and you got the eyes. You got an eye there. And you got the nose right there at the tip. You got the eyes coming right here. You got the main body, and then you got the wings kind of spread out here. It's a pretty neat little horrible drawing. But it's definitely kind of neat looking there. Never really noticed it like that. Pretty cool. Alright gang, that is 10. So I'm going to go ahead and see if this will save it as M17, or if I got to do this rename again. Then I got to do another rename again. Okay. I got it that time. So we will, there it is. And we'll save that as a PNG file as well. All right. Well, okay. If you are watching this at a later date, I would really love to hear feedback on how the stream went overall. I do apologize for the audio missing there for a good 3/4 of this. Just getting familiar with the software. I've only used it now twice. So just getting familiar with it. It looks like it's going to work out real well, but I want to know what the audio quality is as well as the picture quality is on the YouTube channel. So I appreciate everybody that stopped in and to take a peek, and I hope to see you next time right here at the Eyepiece.